This is S4. Now sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Oh, yeah, greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, here in our awesome studio in Cape Horn, Concrete, Washington.
Yeah, that's right.
Tonight, it is the 1st of November. Thank the gods. Oh, my God. October couldn't get over fast enough. and maybe it'll speed up, but I'm not holding my breath on that either. So tonight we're actually talking. Tonight we're actually talking the Day of the Dead and All Saints Day, and of course, aliens. Because we just love talking about aliens. Aliens is one of our favorite topics. So how's everyone doing tonight? Tonight we have Barry, Arnold, and Joe with us. You guys holding out?
Hey, hold on, shut up. Sorry, guys. We did a Halloween party for the kids last night, and I feel horrible. So
It's probably all the Snickers. Just gonna say.
Candy Rush.
shush. Nobody asked your opinion.
Okay.
Show me your doctorate first.
You must have ate all the candy corn.
Okay, so actually,
There's something wrong with that stuff.
Because me and Kayla bought about $400 worth of candy for the kids because they weren't allowed to trick or treat.
Yeah, we did.
So we had.
But we had to go to like 6 different stores because everywhere was already decorated for Christmas and there was no candy left. I was like, what?
Until the day before Halloween when their shipment came in, and then all of a sudden they got too much candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it becomes
don't
Christmas
anymore.
candy.
Right? I was about to buy
That's
me
what's
some Christmas
stupid.
candy.
You know, you buy your stuff now. Well, if you bought your stuff 2 weeks ago when you had all the Christmas stuff out, it's going to be bad by Christmas. If you're buying food,
Depending on what
depending on what it
preservatives.
is, yeah.
Like there's going to be candy left by Christmas.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Hey,
but
I'm just saying, there's some fruitcake from the 1800s that's still good.
Probably will have candy.
There isn't a good fruitcake.
oh no, you won't, because we're having the election day party on Tuesday. It's going to be gone.
There's no chance.
We have way too much food for that.
It went on sale 50% off today.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you went shopping today.
Yeah, we did a
That's
Walmart
right.
raid. Leftover
All
Halloween
right.
stuff.
So we're going to start with All Saints Day, and that is your realm, Cole.
not really, but okay.
Well, that's more the isn't that more a Catholic holiday?
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. It was set as November 1st by Pope Gregory the Third, and it was eventually extended to the entire church by Pope Gregory the Fourth. So it's observed by the Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox, Lutheran churches, Anglican Communion, Methodist churches, Reformed churches, and Philippine Independent Church, and then a few other Christian denominations. But
And what's the symbolism of it?
it's the day we celebrate all of our various saints. So anyone who has made or gotten that title is celebrated on today, usually through the church.
And what do? Do they go have a ceremony? Do they have any kind of services?
Usually, it's just added to the sermon. It's an added sermon for Catholics. I don't know about the other denominations, but for
It's
Catholics,
Sunday.
huh?
It's Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what if?
We do the show on Sunday. Remember?
No,
He's old, guys. He can't help this.
I get that, but so what if All Saints Day falls on a non-Sunday, or they don't usually have a service? Do
Then
they
it's
have
we celebrate it usually on the next Sunday. Some churches do hold services every day. So,
okay.
Yes.
I in the where's that place?
I don't know.
What place?
Seriously, my brain is melted right now. Where's
Heaven?
the Pope live?
The Vatican.
That's it, the Vatican.
Wow. Okay.
I want to go to
Wow.
the Vatican.
It is a Snickers overdose.
Right?
No
So,
joke.
no, at the
Jeez.
Vatican, I do know that every November 1st they do have a service
Okay. Maybe
that he runs.
you need a Snickers
Because he
That's what
doesn't
you
run every service in the Vatican.
do. Right.
So, every Mass.
Okay.
So,
Basically, just like candles.
Well, speaking about celebrating saints, I know here in California this summer they were tearing down statues of saints, along with all the other statues they were tearing down. In particular,
just had a
Father
problem with-
Junipero Serra, he was sainted by the Pope, and they were tearing his statues down here.
they just had an issue.
If you're not from California, he was the guy that set up the all the churches in California going up. You'd walk a day, they'd set up a church. You'd walk another day, and all the way up the California coast. That was back in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm. And see that's what's stupid is
They tore a bunch of his statues down.
No, I know, and that's what's stupid is the country's just 2020 is a year that no one's ever gonna forget because of the stupidity of the humans that are here.
Yep.
I mean, what the hell does a statue of a saint have to do with anything else going on? Honestly, they've gotten ridiculous.
Well, they tore down all the other statues, and they didn't know what to do next.
Yeah, so go home.
Yeah, they tore down Abraham Lincoln's statue.
Right.
They tore down Ulysses S. Grant's statue. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, man.
I'll tell you, it's all about history, and we're going to talk about that when you get to the alien side because that's their agenda.
Oh, absolutely, we're talking about
That's it.
Yep. But
Yep.
actually, we're going to get a lot more into specific alien races when we get to that part.
Yeah.
So, anyone else got anything more to add about All Saints Day?
Well,
It's the day
it's
before-
All Saints Day in the Catholic Church, where you venerate the saints. But I know I grew up down in Southern California, and in Mexico, it's Dia de los Muertos. It's the Day of the Dead.
Yeah. it's
And
right.
when they celebrate all their dead ancestors, they put on a party, they put out the tequila and the food, and they all dress up, and they invite all their dead relatives to come and join them and have a great big party.
Absolutely.
I think it's great.
But do you know?
I
the
think
history-
it's special.
Do you know the history of the Day of the Dead? Because it goes way beyond just Mexico. So, the Day of the Dead actually starts October 31st and goes to November 2nd. Now, October 31st is actually when they honor and celebrate children, the souls of children. And then it goes into November 1st where they switch to adults. And November 2nd, they wrap it up. And they do a 20-hour parade. And they don't sleep. So,
Nope.
the videos that you see of, I can't remember the Spanish name for it, but the Day of the Dead.
Dia de los Muertos.
There you go. So, the Hispanic version is only 500 years old. And it switched from the Aztec and Mayans, who actually started the Day of the Dead 3,000 years ago. And the current version you see today started 500 years ago with the Spanish conquest. And what's cool about that is, unlike the pagan sites and whatnot, where the Christians built their churches and their temples on top of pagan sites and try to convert the pagans, the Spanish conquest, they did build their temples on top of the Mayan sites, but they didn't try to erase that. They actually incorporated the Aztec and Mayan celebrations into what you see today, minus the human sacrifices. Because the Aztecs actually...
That was part of the Spanish conquest. Was they didn't say we're going to change everything about your religion. They just said, hey, look, we're making a new house. We're just doing a little civic improvement here.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to go at it slow.
But they incorporated. The only thing they changed about the Day of the Dead,
Exactly.
they added their God to it. That was it.
Isn't that just like Christmas?
No.
A lot of the Christmas traditions are pagan traditions.
But
The tree and the Yule log and December 25th.
And you're right, but how many...
That's all pagan tradition.
They are. But how many Christians actually know that? Not many.
The tree is
Not many.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Just like how many of the Mayans know it.
Well,
It's a trick.
That's a religious conversation again. Again, you're arguing religion there because the tree actually isn't even a Christian thing.
Nope,
Well,
it's not.
A religious, it's
God.
not a religious thing at all for any religion.
honestly, they didn't have evergreens
No.
in the Middle East, which is where it started.
For
Yeah.
I mean, just be saying.
the tree?
Yeah.
No, the tree didn't start in the Middle East.
I know.
It started in
No.
England.
Yeah.
I thought it was up in Scandinavia somewhere.
Well, they say the candy canes did too.
The evergreen itself was started by Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
She planted all those trees?
That'll
Yeah.
be the Yule show.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in the Yule show. Anyway, the Day of the Dead. So the Day of the Dead is actually a day of joy. It's not solemn. They are respecting their the passed on relatives. In Oaxaca, which is one of the major cities of Mexico, you don't go to bed. You celebrate with a 20-hour parade. They have carnivals and dancing. It's a celebration of life. The Marigold. This
I
is what
grew up down
found-
there. It lasts longer than 20 hours.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the Marigold
It's
is
3
found
days.
because the Marigold is bright gold in the shape of the sun. So that's one of the incorporations from the Aztec and Mayan. They also they make a sauce called mole. Am I saying it right?
Oh,
Yep.
Mole, mole.
Mole, which is made with chilies and chocolate. That sounds so good.
Yummy.
yeah, that does sound good.
And it's served with chicken in a feast.
Yeah, chicken mole.
So originally with the Aztecs, they performed human sacrifice and cannibalism to the god of the dead, which is pre-Hispanic. And they merged the traditions, like I said, minus obviously the human sacrifice. So what's interesting, with the Aztecs, they were doing sacrifices, and there's an alien race called the Romay. So the Romay, they come from Capella, the constellation Auriga. And they are known to be a peaceful race. They tried to coexist with humans, and they created the Mayan civilization or culture by placing humans from different places on Earth in South America. So they are a race of scientists. They taught the Mayans about astronomy and time. They left Earth when the Mayans were at the highest splendor, and after that the Mayans started the well-known blood sacrifices in their honor. The last sighting of this race was in Bora Bora in 2001. So I thought that was interesting, bringing in an alien tie to the Day of the Dead.
It is.
Well, most of the Aztecs and them down there, you know, they had their gods that all came from the sky, like Quetzalcoatl.
Right.
That was the Mexican god. He was the winged serpent. They came down. They figured the winged serpent was the ship that he was on, and it was aliens landed. Little known fact here: I'm an Aztec.
Oh, that explains so
I went to
much.
San Diego State University. They're the Aztecs.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you're an Aztec, that explains the pointy sticks so
Pointy
much.
sticks. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. I might be part of Aztec. Who knows?
no, you're just an alien.
Okay.
Well, you bring up that the Aztecs and the Mayans, they believed in a god coming from the sky and telling them how to do things. Well, isn't that the same all over the world? Even
yeah.
the Christian gods or the Babylonian gods or the Norse gods, it doesn't matter. All the gods came from the sky and taught people things. So it's everywhere.
For the most part, I mean, like, if you actually go off of their, like, the sun gods and everything else like that, then yes, the origins of pretty much every major deity back in the day was from the sun, the stars, the planets.
Yeah, look at the Egyptians.
Oh,
the Greeks.
yeah, look at the Egyptians. Oh, there's so much to look at with the Egyptians.
Except don't look at the mummies, they're freaky.
No,
Okay.
no, those are good movies too, though. Okay. Any more about the Day of the Dead? So, Joe, have you ever actually been to a Day of the Dead celebration?
Oh, yes.
So,
When I was down in San Diego, we jumped across the border just to have a little fun, and it was a lot of fun.
so describe one. 'Cause I don't want to let go of the Day of the Dead just yet. We're too early. In the show.
It's like I said, it's a 3-day party. Everyone's having a great time. It's kind of dangerous to go down to Mexico. We used to do it all the time, but it is dangerous. But I kind of always felt safe on that day because everybody's feeling good. Like you said, it was a day of celebration.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
Right.
and we go down there and you think people have costumes up here. No, you go down there in Mexico and it's incredible. It's wild down there. If you're not dressed up or your face is painted, and you're an outsider almost.
Oh yeah,
It's a wonderful thing. I like the idea that everyone is saying, look at my ancestors, welcome them back. Everything's great. Instead of most places around the world, you talk about your dead ancestors, everyone starts crying and moping and crying in their beers, and down there it's like, yay, it's part of life.
Well,
Death is part of life.
And not just that.
It's going to happen to all of us.
Most of our cultures here in the States, you talk about death, it's something evil.
Exactly. And down there,
or it's something
it's
to be
accepted.
scared of. And you just said it perfectly. It's a part of life. There's nothing. There's nothing to be scared of with death. There's nothing to fear or think is evil with death. It's a part of life. It's a part of moving on. It's a celebration. They've got it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, I for one, I could say I'm not afraid of it. I know it's going to happen. And like I said, 10 years ago, I was in a hospital and I died. I remember seeing the doctors and the nurses and hearing the beep, beep, beep machines, and I went off and they told me I was dead for like 4 or 5 minutes. And I did go to someplace else for a while. And, that's probably a topic for another show, but it was not unpleasant. I kind of had to think about whether I was going to come back or not.
So did you actually go down a tunnel of light?
No, there was no tunnel of light.
Okay.
Well, to keep it real short, I was in like a huge like alpine field, something you see up in the Swiss Alps. Green pine trees, snow-covered mountains, and things were like you say right now. You're looking around, everything's in 3D. This was almost 4D. It was so vivid. The colors were vivid. Mm-hmm. Everything there, it was just vibrant. And then when I came back, I was like, oh, yeah, this is kind of like black and white TV here now.
Ah,
Yeah,
It was
I'm ready
interesting.
I'm ready to go back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but no angels, no tunnel of light, no clouds and harps, none of that shit. Oh, there goes your sensor again. Sorry.
What? No harps?
I got to keep her on her toes.
I'm so disappointed. No harps. We need to see what the my mind's in a whirlwind. So we need to get to ancient text. That's going to be a whole other show. That is so going to be a whole other show.
that'd be good too.
So-
but
Huh?
this the whole point of the Day of Dead is everlasting love that endures long after death. That's what they are always saying about it.
Yeah.
And, they have most of the praise, they have the couple that are together, the skeleton couple that are together, that signifies that
Right.
love forever in the family. And then they, of course, my favorite thing, and I collect them for some damn reason, is sugar skulls. I mean, they paint up all the other stuff, and I've got several of them here in the house, and I have some friends that make some for me and everything else, and they're just awesome to have in display. But all the rest of the stuff I saw by learning it, I had to watch Coco today.
Hey, Coco's a good movie.
Which is actually an awesome movie because it is about the Day of the Dead. It basically gives you the whole thing, because they do present, all, and it tells you a little bit about their beliefs. Is if you do not put your picture of a family out, they cannot come and visit, you know. So that's all part of the remembering of the love for that'll last long after that, and you keep that with you. And kind of crazy. And then once everybody forgets about you, then your soul dissipates. You're not on that side where the other souls live that are waiting to cross the bridge and are kept alive by memories. Then you just dissipate and turn into total energy.
And what's interesting is even in pagan belief with Samhain, it honors the deceased. It's not so solemn. We have the dumb supper. We have the altar in memory. So when you're looking at culture in general, almost all cultures had some kind of version of a Day of the Dead or a soul honoring celebration at this specific point in time. Either it's October 31st, November 2nd. This is the period that they all did it. It makes you wonder why.
It's kind of like, is that because the veil is so thin and they knew it? Someone told them that the two universes or dimensions get close together and they melt at times, so that's why they can talk more and everything else. And I do know that we see more. I spent Friday and Saturday night doing novice stunts till 3:00 in the morning, and the activity is just a lot heavier. Especially yesterday, it was just crazy. You've got people that you normally don't get a hold of. So it's kind of odd.
Now, this year, and a lot of their celebrations, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but I know from the research I did, a lot of their celebrations involve cemeteries. They actually...
All of them do.
They actually go and they decorate their family's plot or tombstone, and again with the colored skulls.
Yes.
It's not black or white. It's not black. They're a rainbow of color.
Right.
Yes.
And they also feed them there. They have dinner there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to put the food out and the tequila.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they
Hallelujah.
canceled this year.
Well, they closed down
They
they closed down the cemeteries.
Yeah.
They did say that you are still able to do it within your own home.
Okay.
But there's a lot of the different parades and stuff that happen this time of year. They've canceled, and they've closed down cemeteries except for a select few people
Communal
you
gatherings.
can get through. Yeah.
Like we did in the States.
Yep.
And, you know, this has just been one of those years that goes in the record books. Because, I mean, even in the Middle East, they canceled, I know Iran, for example, canceled their community prayer. And you're talking thousands of Muslims that go to community prayer. And they cancel.
Yeah.
They don't cancel that. No.
No,
but they canceled.
That's kind of scary in a way because, you know, you think 2020 is bad? Wait until you get all those pissed off spirits and everything and all that stuff together. And 2021 is going to come out like going, hey, you know.
2021, that's the year of Mad Max.
Yes, exactly.
You
Stop
just
with the
got, oh
creepy
my
man,
God, you
man.
just got to bring it up again, don't you? Every show you got to bring up Mad Max. Oh,
I love it.
you're ready for it? Cause
You know how much welding I've done to my truck?
Dude, okay, so Mad Max, you should have seen our trucks in Iraq. They looked like Mad Max. Because we actually had to weld steel plates to our 5 tons in our Humvees, and we didn't have armor when we got there. So our vehicles literally look like Mad Max. I mean, we're talking steel welded to the windows with little slits where we could put our weapons out the window. Literally. Because they didn't send us to Iraq with up-armored vehicles. So, yeah, Mad Max, bring it.
No thanks.
Oh, we're ready for it.
I'm good because you know that I would end up being that dumb chick that's running and gets just ran over. Okay.
Oh,
So, Arnold,
What?
Right.
have you ever seen anything with Day of the Dead?
No.
So you're learning tonight
Yes.
until we get
Pretty
to the
cool.
aliens. Excellent. So we're going to switch up now. And for our longtime listeners that listened to us about, 2 to 3 years ago, we were talking about Dante Centauri. I like comparing alien race books and going through various sources for research. And Dante Centauri disappeared for about a year after he got the people he needed, or said he wanted, on his team that he was doing. And all of a sudden, basically his last video, he was, well, you'll never hear from me again. And then he pops back up. Now, if you're not familiar with Dante Centauri, he's the one who, back in, I want to say the 90s. Yeah, would have been the 90s. Mid-90s. Came out with the ARB, or the Alien Races book. And it came from Russia. And he translated it from Ukrainian and Russian into English, and he put it out on the internet for free. He didn't want any money. So when I look at someone for research quality, I look at a motivation. When I see someone who's got information that they want out to the public and they're not looking for a dime, that is a strike on the valid side of me. Would you agree, Barry?
Yes, definitely. Definitely would agree with that. 100%.
A lot of the skeptics...
Well,
with the-
on devil's advocate on that, I mean, I agree with if they're not looking for monetary gain, that it's probably at least halfway decent information. But on the other hand, he was translating other books, so maybe he just didn't want to get sued. If he was to collect money, then they'd come after him.
So think of this as a classified document back in the days of the USSR. So there's not going to be any...
government documents.
Yep. But they were...
Oh, okay, that's different.
Oh, yeah. But they were declassified, basically, because, well, the USSR disbanded. Mm-hmm. And after the Cold War. So he's not... Who's going to come after him? And...
Mom.
Huh?
Nothing.
So yeah, they released it to the public. Now, again, I'm with you, Joe. Playing devil's advocate. How many likes can you get on your Facebook? How many likes can you get on your YouTube channel?
Yep.
There's monetary gain you can get in other ways. But the other thing I looked at with his information and the ARB does not, his YouTube channels do not give the ARB justice, period. Because he's always updating information through his YouTube channel. And if you have a lot of time on your hands, he's got 1,500 videos. So, yeah, it took me about 4 months to actually go through his entire channel. And that wasn't obviously 24/7. But you can ask Izzy. I was on his YouTube channel constantly for straight 4 months just getting through the information. So, going down a rabbit hole, the concept with a lot of theories that he presents is that Jesus Christ and a lot of your ascended masters were indeed alien races. What's your thoughts on that? We're going to pick this apart. Could you see the possibility that Jesus was actually an alien?
I always...
Well, like I said earlier, you have every religion out there all around the world. Every one of them have said they came from the sky and they taught us things. Mm-hmm. They came from another place and taught us things. Well, that's not a huge leap.
Oh, it is for some. Because some are so devoted in their belief that, oh my God, you're a heretic for even thinking that. I mean,
yeah.
you're
Yeah, because every time we talk about anything to do with the Christian or Catholic religion, everyone goes off on how we're all fucking heretics. I'm sorry, but at the same time, no, it's a little hard to see considering it says he was born. All these other ones that, yeah, they came from the sky. It says they came from the sky. It didn't say they were frickin' born.
Okay, but looking at the Bible, you've got a burning bush. You've got Ezekiel's wheel. You've got Jacob's ladder, a ladder that goes up into the sky with lights.
Enoch.
You've got,
again, you're doing the exact same thing that a lot of Catholics do or Christians do, just on the other side. You're trying to take the book and use it as truth for your own agenda.
No, you got the Mahabharata. You've got.
It's a book. It's written by man. It's flawed.
Oh, it could be.
It
could be.
No, it is.
No, I'm sorry.
There isn't a book out there that isn't flawed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one person's view.
Well, it depends. If you look at the Bible, it's supposed to be written by a bunch of men speaking God's word.
Yeah, but only one translated at the start.
Okay, but again, looking at the Bible, and you're saying that it is spoken word from written by several different men through several different generations and everything like that. Well, we know that if I say something to you and I say, "Hey, write this down for me," right, and you go back home and you write something down, you're gonna get the gist of what they said, but you're gonna leave pieces out because you're not gonna remember, or
you might write it in your own words.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because Paul couldn't write his version.
Even if it was...
Paul couldn't write his book. He wasn't allowed paper in prison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's where he wrote from.
He memorized that shit for years. But so even if it is the spoken word of a god of any of this type of thing, well, you're not going to remember every single detail of what was spoken to you by the time you get back to where you can actually write it down.
There is not a book in this world that isn't flawed.
Scribes were used in ancient times, and they have always been used. And if you believe in the Akashic records or universal consciousness, wherever that comes from, the source, the main sources that are out there, had their laws, had their own things. The true law was unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness. That was the only law that they basically were going for. They had all the things. The Bible was totally rewritten when Christ came back, and it was all changed into the New Testament. What was old was now made new, all by his thoughts and everything else. But again, it is transcribed by people, but scribes have been used forever. And supposedly those scribes are driven by a source so that they get it right.
Now,
correct?
Yeah. I want to pick apart the Emerald Tablets, and that's going to be another show. And what's the other one?
Oh,
Voynich.
Yeah,
the Voynich manuscript. Yeah,
the Voynich
yeah,
manuscript. Another one.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of tablets that you can. The copper
Well,
scrolls,
everyone talks about the Emerald Tablets, and I might be wrong, but nobody actually has seen the Emerald Tablets, right?
No.
So.
Really? No
I
one's
mean,
seen them?
there's a great big jump there from something that nobody even knows if it exists. No one's ever actually seen it, but everyone knows what it says. Come on, man.
Yeah, like, I don't get
this.
That's Catholics are wrong for having faith, but we're going to believe in a fucking tablet that no one's ever seen.
Oh,
well, there's a reason for it. If you believe in the librarians, the ancients, scrolls of things that were supposed to be kept from man, and other things there are, and if you believe in universal consciousness and pulling things from the universal source, then it all kind of goes together. It all comes back in twofold. So it has to come from some spot.
In your opinion, where does the universal consciousness come from?
It comes from, in my opinion, what I foresee is everyone here is energy and soul, and so you are a vessel that is like a computer. You have a brain, you have all this stuff you learn. Your soul operates this machine while it's in it. When it's gone, it goes back. It's like a gigantic pot of soup. There are information into it, and you can dig into that universal consciousness.
Okay, so you basically you're thinking that it's like the cloud.
Exactly.
Metachlorians.
But what if
Star Wars had it right, man? It's metachlorians.
I can get on board with that.
But what if aliens are manipulating that cloud?
Aliens would have been
sensors.
They would have been the main. Could have been part of the sources. When you talk about sources here of what came here and everything else, I always look at the planet of Earth was developed as a place of rest, and to be able to
oh, good Lord!
take time because the ancients, I believe there's a lot of things that here we're not told the history, and that's one of the things that I think that most of the races don't want people to look for, don't want them to understand, is that if once you find history and you find consciousness and you have the ability to be equal to them, you're a threat to them. And the more the people that are woken up in that way, the more that you could fight them. It's just like all the secret covens from everything else. They don't want people to realize that you have the ability to be equal to them, but they want to try to cause fear and enslave you.
So do you
and
think
keep you down in the area?
Do you think the government's aware of some of these sources, and that's why the government tries to cover it up?
Yeah, I think they're very well aware of it, and I think that there's been discussions of different alien Bibles that are very similar of the blue, the gold, the white, all these different versions of Bibles from a source somewhere out there, and you have good and evil, and they run that way. They want to control all those things. So, and as far as when Christ's teachings and everything else is all about, hey, if you hear it and you believe it, then great. If you don't, then you're cannon fodder. And I think we have a lot of cannon fodder because people don't understand that they can have the ability to become a godhead or a source themselves. They have all the power within them.
Okay. So I'm going to take you back.
Not a popular theory,
but going back to the concept of Jesus being a specific race, according to certain, and I don't have a copy of them, the only one that's got a copy of them is Dante. So you're going by one man's interpretation or one man's translation, and I want to present that because
Dante's realm of hell.
it may no Dante Centauri, the Ukrainian.
All right, okay.
Because it makes sense compared to other researchers I've read. I don't believe reptilian. I don't believe the Queen's reptilian. I don't believe there's a lot of other theories out there that to me don't feel right, if that makes sense. If it feels right compared to what I've seen, what I've dealt with, and what other research I've done, then I can still get on board with it with a grain of salt, but it's something I'll follow. So, according to these texts, Jesus was a race called the Charistus. K-A-R-I-S-T-U-S. And if it sounds like Christ.
Sounds like Christian.
Yeah, it sounds like Christ. Now, according to this theory, the day he was put on the cross, his race took him back. And the evil race, for lack of a better term, there is good and evil in this alien war that we're dealing with. And we'll get to the evil races. There's many of them. The Mater, the Velash. Not the Reme. Hold on. We'll get to them. There's a whole lot of allies within the Mater. Or Matri. And so think about what if Christ had not risen from the cross, where would Christianity be today?
Wouldn't be anywhere.
So the Christus came back. They took Jesus off the cross, or when he died, he didn't rise from the tomb. What rose from the tomb, and there's been interpretations that Jesus' personality changed after he was reborn. Now, again, playing devil's advocate, yeah, if I had just been reborn and people had just killed me, I wouldn't be the same either. But it wasn't a Christus that was resurrected. It was actually, oh God, what race was it? I believe a Matri. Because
A dark one, a dark side of it.
A dark race, an evil race.
Yes, exactly.
came out of the tomb, because had Jesus not resurrected, there wouldn't be religion. That religion, one of the biggest religions, and this is not a popular theory either, but religion does indeed control humans.
100% so.
Yes.
So humans aren't manipulated without religion. And
Correct.
there's certain races that want that control. And that would be the Maitri, the Vlash, and many of their allies. And we're going to get to, you've heard of the Consortium, which is the Council of Aliens that watch the Earth, but they don't manipulate or help humans. They're only here for the planet. But, and I know you've heard of these guys, Barry, you've heard of the Council of Nine?
I've heard of the Council of 5, Council of 8, Council of 9, and Council of 12.
So we're going to talk
And the
about
Galactic Federation Council.
right. So we're going to talk about the Council of 5, which I know did become the Council of 9. 9 races that
Yes.
actually do protect the human race.
Mhm.
Now, are we a brotherhood of theirs? Are we their kids? That part I'm not going to get into tonight because that's a whole. That's so confusing. It's not even. It's not even hard. It's not even easy to talk about because it's just there's a lot of confusion with it. Which race seeded us? Which race controls us? Which race? Yeah, that's no, and it's all conjecture. Is there any proof of it? Not really. Just translated books. Or translated.
There's no proof in it's just faith.
All we
There's
can
no-
say that
no.
all we can say that's proof is there are people being abducted by aliens. You have that proof by abductees.
Yes.
You know, so we know what's fact and what's conjecture. Some conjecture makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2017, and it was specifically in the ARB, 2017 to 2022, there is, really is he, 800-pound owls?
That was Joe.
Oh, Joe, really? You got 800-pound
Hey.
owls in the woods?
Sounds like a couple of 800-pound owls out in the woods. There was 3 or 4 of them going off a minute ago, and I started whacking my bat, and
Oh, Bigfoot's
now I don't
talking
hear
to
them. But every time I hit the bat, they went off.
Mm.
So, 2017 to 2022, and again, this was all documented long before 2017 hit. But there's a race called the 2017, and they've only contacted humans one time in the USSR in 1935. According to reports, they spoke some kind of Slavic dialect. They left written messages with about 10 sentences. They come from the galaxy, and this is all probably verifiable if you haven't Googled it, but look up galaxy UDFJ 395-46284. Estimated distance from Earth, by our standard, is 13.2 billion light years. They travel by using what other alien races call the wormhole, which allows them to bend space. And we kind of know, haven't scientists just now started...
Dealing with portals and wormholes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what CERN's doing right now. Trying to rip open parts of space and wormholes and portals.
Did nobody learn
Didn't they shut
anything from
CERN down
Stranger
again?
Things?
So that's the last thing I heard. That yeah, they did shut it down again because it's getting weird.
Yo, okay, I don't think ripping any kind of hole in any kind of dimension or
That's
any
not-
kind of space time is
no.
the greatest idea.
Hell no.
Especially when you have no idea what the hell is over there.
That's the deal. That's the deal.
Like I said,
You know, it had to have been something pretty major. I mean, they spent billions and billions of dollars building the world's largest machine. They turned it on for a little while and went, "Holy smokes!" and they turned it back off.
Yep. Exactly.
Something happened.
There was an article written. You can't find it anymore about what happened, but it ended up that one of the people who were heading the program was basically disintegrated, and all it was there was their necklace and their clothes, and everything else was missing at one point when they were trying to deal with ripping open a portal or time.
So they tried to rip open a portal and instead made it a death ray. Is this what I'm hearing?
Basically.
Oh no! What they
Or
basically-
something came out of a portal and disintegrated
Sucked him
somebody.
up into
Like,
there.
yeah,
Oh man.
sucked it up into him. Yeah, sucked it up into him. You know, and supposedly there may be a crack in there coming in and out of it.
Well, that would explain the more sightings. wouldn't it?
Kraken. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is where, and we'll actually get to this question, Barry. But I want you to be thinking about this. If we're in an alien race war, which we're actually not in, we're just in the crossfire, basically for human control. Think of it that way. Between the Mater, the Vlash, and the Christus.
Yes.
Would that explain the rash of sightings we're having? Or maybe it may be a part of that rash of sightings, because we're already in 2020. 2021 is just a couple months away to start, and then the end of this war, whatever is going to happen in 2022.
I don't know about that though. If there's an alien race war going on and it's pretty major, wouldn't we be seeing things shot out of the sky and crap,
But aren't we?
landing in Dodger Stadium and
We've seen some of that.
We've seen
in
some of
fact.
that. Maybe
Yeah,
not landing
we've actually seen some of that.
maybe not landing in the Dodgers field, but some of these unusual lightning strikes that really aren't natural looking. You've seen a lot of that this year.
oh, you like the one we had here 2 months ago where the entire West Coast lit up and started all the fires.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was some weird stuff. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, that's part of what you're going to start seeing. So the Tunguska blast that happened in Siberia back in, I believe, the 1900s was,
yes.
according to many of these theories, actually an alien craft crashing.
But it was destroyed before it crashed.
Wasn't that a meteor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Airburst.
It might have been a meteor.
I'm just,
You know, there's
Supposedly.
rumors that Tesla started up his wireless electronic thing in Waycliffe, New York.
New York.
And he started that up, and that's when the Tunguska blast happened. That's a theory. I don't know. I haven't looked at the details to see if the dates are right on, but
Right.
he put a lot of money into that thing and fired it up once and went, "Oh man!" and he turned it off. Never,
weird.
just
So
walked
he
away from it.
answered-
Look what we did to Russia.
Yeah.
He shot down an alien spaceship. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. That's a good one.
It just electrocuted it out of the air.
So, according to this according to these 10 lines, the 10 sentences of this message, 9 of the sentences were actually blacked out because it was a Russian document, and the only sentence that was not blacked out was actually 2017 to 2022.
Well, I mean, we had that, back in the USSR, before it split apart and became a whole bunch of different areas, there was Prime Minister, I think is what it would be called back then, that came out and straight up said that there was aliens.
Mm-hmm. And that's my, so we're coming close to the top of the hour, but that is one of my questions, actually, is all these other countries have come out and said, yes, there's aliens, yes, we've got UFOs. UK came out and said, admitted it, Argentina's come out and said it, Australia's even come out and said it. Why is the United States the only one, until this year, July, the Pentagon finally came out and said, yep, we've got some off-world craft,
Well, technically, they have several times up until that point. It was just nobody listens, man.
Well, they didn't get
how
listened
many
to
how
this
many
time.
people listened this year? Nobody listened. Nobody even remembers that aliens came. Nobody remembers that there was a crash.
They released those 3 videos big time all over the U.S., and everyone went, yeah, so what? Russia, and COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone went, yeah, I've seen Ancient Aliens. No big deal. We all know they're here. That was the big horror thing about the aliens. And they went, I guess people didn't really care.
Right.
No.
They're not terrified. It's like, yeah, we know they're here. Just give us some more info.
But the thing that baffles me is even now with the ones that said, "Yep, we know they're here," and who cares? You still have a lot of people that you talk about aliens. You're a nutcase.
Not as many anymore. I mean, there's more and more
Not
acceptance
as many.
of it. There is more and more acceptance of it. You say aliens back in what the 80s.
Well,
you said
okay.
that aliens are coming. Oh my God, there's aliens. People are going to call you crazy. Nowadays, there's 400 different Facebook pages you can join because everybody believes that this alien comes. And nowadays, there's a whole community of people that say, "Yeah, you know what? I think you're right."
Yeah, almost everywhere I go, if the subject comes up, someone will say something like, "Oh, you believe in aliens?" People say no, but then they'll tell you a story about something that they saw.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, and we actually get that more with Bigfoot up here. You know, and people see at random, they'll see me and put 2 and 2 together and go, "Oh, I've got this Bigfoot story for you." Like, okay, where did you see him? And there it goes.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that as many people. I'd say there's a small fraction of people that believe that everybody's crazy that believes in aliens, but just as many people think people are crazy that don't like this food or that food. Like,
Well,
it's
you are.
just.
All right.
Like pineapple on pizza.
Right? That's insane.
So on that note, we are going to go to our first break. When we come back, we'll start talking about the Matrix. Or the Mater.
Mater.
What will you do when disaster strikes? What is your plan? How will you stay safe? Join us each week as we help you answer these questions. On Upriver Counter Chaos. Only on KSVU 90.1 FM, your source for community radio.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4, where you hear everything alien. But yeah, it's okay. Wait, Goosebumps 2.
Well, no, like, what did everyone watch for Halloween this year?
Well,
I watched Goosebumps 2 yesterday.
Nice. I watched Hocus
And I watched
Pocus.
Coco tonight, so.
Well, Anthony and I had a Michael Myers.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I did that. I watched, I think they had 7 of them on TV in a row, and I had recorded them all and just sat and watched all the Halloween movies.
Yeah, but 3 sucked. 3 had nothing to do with Michael Myers.
3, 4, and 5, and 6, those were horrible.
Yes. I have to agree with you.
And you know what? You can't find 2. You have to pay for it on pay-per-view somewhere. They won't show you anybody number 2.
What did I get? I got it on Prime Video for $2.99.
Well, like I said, you got to pay for it.
Pay for it.
Yeah.
All the rest of them are free.
I don't pay for movies anymore.
Yeah, no.
And
I don't pay for no movies.
paying for half the services, so.
We only watched 1 and 2.
But we watched Hocus Pocus, The Addams Family,
Simpsons.
all the Simpsons,
All the Simpsons.
Treehouse of Horrors.
Treehouse of Horrors. Yeah.
Did anybody have any trick-or-treaters?
I don't know.
I haven't had trick-or-treaters in 20 years.
Well, you're up in a bunker in the mountains. I don't expect you to.
That's it. Next Halloween, I'm
Barry,
going to
did
go
you
knock
end
on
up
your
with any?
bunker.
I saw a little bit of a few of them. I left the house at like 6 o'clock, and
What
darkened it all up. But I saw 2 of them walking the streets, and my neighbor outside had a tail to give away candy. So, but I don't know how many people were out because I didn't see anybody. I saw those 2 walking down the road. As far as I know, they could have been real aliens that were dressed up.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. How do you know they're trick-or-treaters?
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Arnold? You live in Olympia.
My wife and I spent the night at Alice's, so no.
Oh, okay.
We were. We probably, if we stayed here at our apartment complex, probably would have had 75 to 100, probably.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
wow, that's a lot of trick-or-treating.
Well, Olympia,
Wow.
yeah.
Because what the apartment complex, to make it safe, kind of split it up. They put part of it at trunk or treat, and then the other was kind of you sit out, and as they walk by, you could give them candy.
Yeah, I know Concrete was busy this year, actually. They did good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people online saying that we're ready for you guys. Come on out. One guy said he had 100 bags of candy ready to go.
Yeah, he gave him a whole
That's
bag.
a little excessive.
He gave him a whole bag of candy. Every trick-or-treater
Yep.
that came, he gave him a whole bag.
Oh, gee.
So did Loggers Landing. Loggers Landing had
Oh, did they?
was giving away stuff.
I know we used to go to Marysville, and one of our friend's neighbors, he would actually ask the kids for their bag or bucket, and he would take it from them, and he had boxes of candy that he would take it and fill the bag or hit the kid's bag halfway.
Damn.
Like, yeah, he was a good
How
guy.
come we weren't trick-or-treating?
Huh?
Never mind, you got a whole box of candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We were good without the trick-or-treatage
Right.
this year.
So here's a theory for you. So with you've all seen the elongated skulls on Ancient Aliens, on National Geographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are supposed to be Christus hybrids.
The one
Okay, well, I can tell you some of them definitely aren't.
No.
Some of
Because
them
some of
do
them,
it
they
themselves.
use specialized metal pieces to make it happen.
Yeah,
But-
there's no doubt that some of them and some of the
Grinding.
cultures, in fact, some of them still do it
Right,
around the world.
right.
They do the deformations of the
It-
skulls, but
it's-
those
it-
skulls are easy to see that they're human because they have a sagittal suture.
Right.
They have
Yes.
a bunch of them, though, that have no sagittal suture. And if you're a human, you have that. It's like where the two halves of the
Absolutely.
skull come together as a child, and they have a bunch of those elongated skulls that don't have that. They're from somewhere else.
And didn't they come back as DNA unknown? Or
DNA
unique-
unknown.
Yeah, unique DNA
Yes.
patterns. So with that, I could get on board with some of them. But you're not talking you're not talking a big number of hybrids anyway. Not all.
Well, anytime you're trying to hybridize something, you're going to have a whole bunch of failures and only a few successes.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And wasn't the elongated skull actually a sign of class? Was it not? The higher classes.
Well, they were the guys. They tried to emulate the gods that came down from the skies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Say, hey, look, these guys got these big elongated skulls. You know, we could deform our kids and make them look like that.
Yes, exactly. That's what they did. There was an
It was like a status symbol.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A class status.
Yeah. Well, in several different cultures, they've done binding of several different body parts in order to make them look different or to emulate something. It's not just the skulls. Like, people do the binding of the feet. They do the binding of the hands. There's arm bindings, and there's neck elongation, too.
Neck extensions, yeah.
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 There was actually one where they used to break the legs of children, stretch it, and wait until the bone got up, and then they'd break them again and stretch it so that they had longer legs.
That's child cruelty. The child cruelty. There we go.
Yeah, but not if that's what your culture does. Not if that's like everything that your culture does for thousands of years. You wouldn't think of it that way back then.
No, that's true.
Because they knew that tall people were cool.
The one that bothers me is the feet, where they curl their toes underneath and make them really tiny. Because that's just icky.
You're not a feet guy?
No.
So, have you seen? In the last week, have you seen how many UFO cases have you seen, Bear?
On the last week, through MUFON, 0. Through other types of reporting, I've seen 4. Plus, I was at a place last night, and we had some people out in the back that wanted to sky watch and saw an odd 4 greenish orbs. And then they got a call from someone who was passing out candy that was north of us in Bowling Green, and said, guess what? She just saw one of the weirdest things that looked like a shooting star or an asteroid, but it just went poof, kind of like at the end, and like it went into something, and it had kind of like a green haze to it afterwards. So, got another report last night of more of like a greenish orbs. There was 4 sighted moving across the sky where we were in north of Franklin, Kentucky, and then north of that, someone saw the same thing and reported it on Facebook. Said, "Hey, I just saw this," and kind of unusual, if you ask me. So yeah, we are seeing them. We are seeing a lot of people are sending me videos. There are certain areas that we're getting videos from people every day that they are returning, and they're filming it.
So
and
pay attention to the craft that have white lights.
Well, that is one of the things that, it's funny. And also pay attention to the ones that are orange. And orange is white lights, because I was talking to some people and seeing some things, and supposedly the ones with the white lights are not really the good ones. And we have seen through...
Those are Mater.
Yeah, that's correct. And the ones with the orange are supposed to be the good race that the Maters do not want here.
No, that's
it goes back to this odd type of thing that happened in '53 with Eisenhower and the treaties, and off offering these things up. And then it also, and this is going to be bizarre, the ones that you'll see coming from out of the ground, they could be orangish white. Those are actually craft that have been captured, and the Maters are actually flying those and using them as a disguise. Maters are probably the worst thing in the world and want dominance over this world and take over this planet and want to turn us all into slaves. And it fits the narrative of what people call the cabal here, and some of the other ones. So it is quite heavy. And when you
according to some races, there is a race out there. Nobody knows which one it is, but it's makes the Mater look like kindergartners. I don't know.
And that's the one that hasn't. That's the one that hasn't. Supposedly, from sources, they haven't been here yet, but they are so close, and that's why all of these areas that are looking out in space right now have been closed because of COVID or something else, because they don't. Some know that they're already there. If we already have a space program, we already know that they're happening. They don't want us to really know or find out. They want other people to find out about it. Look at the deaths. Look at the death of all the scientists.
What are you talking about? If humans really understood what Mater were,
it'd be it would be crazy. I mean, if you look at half of the people that are missing in the world, and you can basically say Mater.
Not all of them, because we're not going to get into the abduction races because we don't have time. We'll make that another show.
Yeah.
But there's other races that just abduct for meat, and they don't come back, obviously.
We're a tasty treat. But as I always say, to a Mater would be more like, I remember you taste like chicken.
Yeah. But what the Mater just hate the human race.
Well, do they hate us, or do they just want us to eat? Like, we hate turkeys.
They torture. They don't eat.
Oh, okay.
Some of them they eat, but they're torture. They love torture. They love pain. They love dominance.
So they're like a whole race of S&M.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're their slaves.
They would imprison you and slave you and beat you to death just for the fun of it because they enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that is, if you look at the way that people talk about the ancient, or not even the ancient, if you talk about today, everybody's saying there's a black, dark government. And you talk about the Bilderbergs, and you talk about all this other stuff, and you throw them all together. What you have is you have people that have folded into the Mater end of it, and Maters have also been known to be shape-shifting in a way.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that so much.
I have heard that. I have heard that. So, but that's one of the odd things that are just there. And back in the days when I was doing a lot of experimenting with cameras and taking shots in the skies and everything else, I had a verified one of a vehicle being towed, a damaged spacecraft being towed by another UFO. And so it's very interesting. It goes back to, and even back with your biblical thing. Yes, I can buy into that very easily, because when you look at Moses walking around for 40 years, or the Israelites walking around, what happens? There's a craft that shoots out this stuff called manna that is feeding them all for 40 years and guiding them to this one spot. You have all kinds of different things that have been going on that are related to all of that. And you mentioned it, Ezekiel and the wheel, and also Enoch being taken off of Earth. And then you have the Serpo papers that talk about, or Serpo, that talk about the trading of aliens and the reticulin program, all the other types of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty evident that, and these things live underground. And look what's coming up out of the ground right now. All kinds of fun things.
Yeah, especially in Kentucky.
Exactly. Especially in Kentucky. Hallelujah. Kentucky, Tennessee, all that. And, it's bad. And people just don't buy it. They look at you kind of like going, oh, Bear's an insane idiot again, But it's really, I mean, if you look at it and you see it and you're involved in it as much as we are, and we were talking last night, these people were out there, and I says, I would love to know what's leaving those gigantic footprints that have 2 toes that look like almost like rabbit tracks, but they're 10 inches long and 2 inches wide. There's something walking out in the cornfields in the mud and everything else that is leaving these weird footprints. And I'm like going, I don't know what that is, but I don't know if I want to see it or not.
Oh, you need to get a plaster cast for that.
Yeah, well, they're everywhere. I mean, I thought about that in last night, and I didn't have it. So, but I'll head back out there because I know they're still going to be there because I saw them the other day, and I said, I've just been so busy. October has been crazy, and with all the stuff and everything else, and doing the hunts and so forth. So I haven't really been dealing too much in the UFO side of it. And I need to get back into it. Just once that I'm getting here and the reports, and I need to make some travels to Eastern Kentucky also to follow up on some of these cases, especially the stuff that's happening night after night and it's being seen night after night.
What kind of camera do you recommend for night sky photography that will actually pick up these lights?
The best thing that if you buy a high-end night vision goggle set that has a video input and record it into video, that is the best thing you're going to be able to buy. Daytime full spectrum is a great thing because full spectrum does pick up different things. The only problem about it is you have to have some kind of ambient light plus IR light, and there's no IR light that will go that far. I've got IR that will go up 150 yards, but it's a thin type and it doesn't do it. No. So night vision that has video out, and it's no good to have just the night vision goggles or anything else because, it shocks a lot of people when they first, put night vision on.
Oh, yeah.
And they're, look at the stars, and
night vision picks up stuff you can't even see with the naked eye.
Exactly. Because you're looking at the stars and you see like 15 stars in one little area. You put on night vision and there's 1,000 there, Yeah. So it gives you a whole different perspective of the sky and what moves in it and what's also there. So, yeah, and it's crazy, but it's a fact. We are being visited, and even look at the type of stuff that is coming out that no one is paying attention to. Like when you're talking about they established the Unidentified Area Phenomenal Task Force on August 14, 2020. The United States government did. All right. The Secretary of Defense, Norquist, to study and establish aerial phenomena. A darn task force, because what's happening, the Senate is asking about, hey, are these things a threat to us? And so now they have to come back out and really talk about it because they're opening up more and more. And that's the thing that people are not paying attention to.
So what can you tell us as far as new updates with the new aerial task force?
Right now, it's underneath the Department of Defense and the Department of the Navy. I don't know anything more about it because it's going to relate to what's going to happen in the election 2021. Mm-hmm. It's all coming at that time. I was even catching stuff on it today about they're talking about the election and the sudden unexpected revelation that can change the course of the United States presidency elections, what they're saying, is all about the UFO disclosure. So that's kind of odd, And this was in aliens UFO sightings online, but they have all about it, and they talk about warp drives and wormholes. And I was reading an article.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I was reading articles that they're looking to have warp drive by 2022.
I can't wait until we catch up to Star Trek. I really can't.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy stuff, awesome. But
I don't see that.
But
warp drive
and we did have. Yeah, and we did have at one time, that was disclosed by Al. Can't think of his name now, but it's TTA. It's the gosh, I don't know what's going on with my mind right now. Must be getting beamed.
Blink 182 guy.
Yeah, big, yeah. And then, but it was called the advanced. It was called the advanced. 2012 thing, and which came out in 2017. Mm-hmm. That program was called AAPIT, which stood for Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program.
Mm-hmm. Hey, okay, I have to ask though, what do you guys think about the new mining of the moon? What do you think about that? Do you think that that's a good idea, bad idea?
There's an alien race that's already mining the moon. That's right. A good
idea. And why would you want to mine something that rings like a bell?
Don't we already have enough cheese here? Oh wait, that's a fairy tale.
So it's Wisconsin
but
wants to mine the moon?
there may be something more than that going on the moon. Because in fact, when we've hit things and or projected anything into the moon. What do the astronauts talk about it? Everybody, some of the things that have been kept from people that are there, it rings for a long time.
Didn't they learn anything from the Transformers?
You would think so.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay, I gotta say, I got a weird theory about the moon because
you're full of weird theories.
I am full of weird theories, but I honestly think that the moon is just a giant geode.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
You crack the moon, it's full of quartz crystal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
I think that the entire moon is a giant geode.
And it would be hollow if that was the case.
It would be hollow if that was the case, yes.
Yes.
And it would
for quartz to form, you'd have to have a lot of water, so I don't know about quartz.
They found water.
But they found water on the moon.
They found water on the moon.
Yeah, they found some.
Well, that's because it's all turned into quartz now.
Right?
That's the unusual part about it is there's theories out there and how true they are and everything else, but there's been when you start looking at it, why we didn't go back to the moon, why we're going now, other bases.
The aliens told us to get off their lawn.
That's basically what they did.
Yeah.
They were watching and everything else.
Transmission.
But it's not their lawn. It's our lawn. It's our planet. It's our moon. Their lawn's near their planet.
That's getting into some sketchy crap because what happens if that happens to be their planet?
Oh, don't stand up for your other race. Don't even.
Well, what happens if they put it there a long, long time ago and they're using it to observe us?
That's an observation
it's
platform.
Yeah, it's an easy place to launch from. It'd be like launching missiles from Cuba to Florida.
And maybe that's where the Council of Five sits.
Sits on the moon?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Could be.
So, have you ever heard of the concept that Vlash hybrids are the humans that you see that have eyes that flash?
Yes, I have heard that too. Yes.
Have you ever encountered any people whose eyes flash?
Yeah, actually, I have. Some of these UFO controversies, you never know who you're going to find.
Oh, absolutely. You have, yeah.
I mean, that's where you look around and you're going to find the guys that are known to be in the aviary. The CIA is going to be there. You name it, they're all going to be there looking at you. You know, and then you've got these.
Fourth Moon Paracon?
Right.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And that was a very small Paracon, but we had an alien there.
But she was a super interesting person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when you are there, you look around. If you pay attention, you're going to see some things that you're going to go like, oh, what the hell am I looking at? You know?
I can't wait till 2021 when things open up, maybe, and S4 can actually start going to some of these events.
Mm-hmm.
I miss
That's
them.
the thing that, I mean, I miss them too because they have been just scrubbed off like anything. And 2021 is supposed to be the year that they're coming back. I've seen some big names and some big things starting to come around, but it all depends on what the other agenda puts together for us and who's controlling that.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a second and go on the side of the hybrid aliens here. And I'm gonna say,
oh, you're kind.
No, stop it. We talk about evolution and the evolutionary patterns of humans, okay, and different things that have happened throughout the years. Okay, so we look at somebody, we see something as different. Could it honestly just be a deformation on the DNA or a extra chromosome or a, you know, like you look at them and you see obviously there's something different, obviously their eyes might shine a little or this might happen more or something like that, but couldn't it just be an evolutionary step in humanity?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it could be, but it's because of the fact that maybe your DNA was altered by something that was
outside the universe?
Outside the universe, correct.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it couldn't possibly be that too, but I'm saying that it could just be our own DNA being manipulated by us.
You'd see it more often than I think if that was the case, though.
Yeah, but if we are manipulating, or if our DNA is changing into the people that originally made us, you know, even if you read the Bible in the first chapter, it says in their image, we made man in our image.
Right.
That was not, you know, that was R is plural, so it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
I mean,
of course, it could have been a typo for Cole, but you never know. You know, that's the thing. Yeah. So, and if everything did come from, I've heard a lot of different things that there have been things come from other planets, and we have been transplanted here. Edgar Mitchell probably said some of the best things, and I also do believe that the astronauts were mind controlled. I mean, look at some of them. They were Armstrong never. It changed his life going to the moon so much that he just became.
Who's the other one? There's another one that Edgar Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell.
There was another one that came out, and I think he died.
Yeah.
He died just a couple of years ago, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did. Yeah,
it was Shepard, wasn't it?
Oh, Shepard's another one.
Yeah, Shepard's another one, and so was Gordon, but he died. Also, but Gordon spoke out quite a lot about it.
I believe Gordon talked about seeing craft over Muroc Air Base.
He did,
which is
exactly.
Yeah,
and actually communicating to an alien there where they actually landed, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and that fits some of the stories that have come out. Now, that's the problem. There's been so much disinformation, so many different things, and if you believe that there is, which I do, that there is several different programs that are monitoring abductees by the United States government and have for a long time. There are others that are, I believe there's 3 different programs ongoing. And there is a paranormal the Pharmacology desk in the Pentagon. So,
wait, you mean the Pentagon's got an X-Files? I'm not working.
Yes. Yes, called the Pharmacology desk. Yes.
I want to go work there.
I would not want to work for X-Files. Okay? Like, if it's anything like the Mulder and Scully version of X-Files, I do not want to be anywhere near that. Do you know how often they almost died, or people around them got blown up by something, or some crazy thing came out of a tree?
But look at what happens to the people who really investigate this and the boots on the ground things. Mm-hmm. They are coming up with a lot of them are dying. They come up with weird diseases. They come up with brain cancer in a minute. They have different things that happen to them. And it's because of technology that we are probably not even close to coming to, but it has to do with EMF and other types of things. That's why 5G can be so dangerous. That's why all this other stuff can be dangerous, because when you start dealing with tectonic weapons and everything else, I mean, and I always go back to the thing of HR, 1077, back when they were talking about trying to control space, and they were talking about chemtrails back then and everything else. And then they started mentioning alien technology, certain kinds of weapons in there. And I mean, this is the government talking about what they did not want to have happening, and it's happened,
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I mean, we don't know what we have. They've done a real good job disguising it. So, and we also don't know who's controlling it.
And one theory about the Earth, it's not that a lot of these races want the Earth, it's the location. This is a stopping point for a lot of them to go on to the next, wherever they're going.
Right. Exactly.
Have you heard that theory?
I have heard that theory.
And then, of course,
makes sense also.
Some of the races, they stop in, they have a snack, which is, us, and then they go on to the next place.
But also, if you also have to buy into the idea that there has been alien encounters with here and under the ground for million of years. They've been here longer than they do. If you go back to the old movies, just take the Mater, for instance, okay? Mm-hmm. Who could you compare that to on Saturday morning cartoons? The Sleestaks. I mean, go back
Morlocks.
to the land. Yes, Morlocks, Land of the Lost. Here you go.
Okay.
And that is all this stuff, and it's so funny how through all of there is slow disclosures going on forever, because just look at films, movies, everything else, and is it possible that they gave certain things to certain people? Here's Star Trek and Roddenberry, and he's talking about all this other stuff, and he's making all this stuff, and we use that to determine on what we make and warp drive and all of those stuff. That came somewhere else. It's science backed.
Hold that thought, because there is a video game,
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. So a lot of the aliens you encounter on Mass Effect are actual races.
Yes. Hey, I'm still getting over watching Evil. I had to binge watch Evil.
Isn't that awesome?
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be disappointing when you get to the last episode, though. That was
already been there. Been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Well, it's supposed to come back, so let's see what happens. It's supposed to be on CBS, but they haven't told us when.
It was good enough to come back, but then again, so was Firefly, and we're still waiting for the second.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
I'm sorry. Love you.
Okay, real quick, I want to go into, for our listeners, what some of the specifics of the Mater are. And so they have 2 home planets in the constellation Megapi. They have the same average height as humans and are considered by many alien races as parasites. We've already pretty much discussed that. They visited Earth for the first time during the prehistoric period, dates unknown. Abduction of humans is carried out openly. They have the goal of colonizing Earth. I'm kind of on the fence with that one. That has not happened because of protection from other alien races, such as the ones in the Council of 5, which is now the Council of 9. We'll get into that a little bit later. They are hermaphrodites, and their lifespan is 120 years. They have colonized at least 26 planets. And again, this information is from years ago, so it's probably higher than that by now. They have abducted at least 5,000 humans, all male. They have visited Earth at least 200 times. And again, that number is probably way higher. Last sighting, September 2006, near Nome, Alaska, USA. And again, that's probably not accurate either. Because they're here now. Quite openly. So the Mater have been involved in several tragedies throughout human history. Some of the worst plagues were inflicted by them with the knowledge and agreement of the reptilians, who want the human population to never go over 8 billion.
How weird is that one? Just saying.
And that's what I mean. I look at many different theories. I look at many different researchers, and some of it makes absolute sense. Some of it sounds way the hell out there. But even some of the stuff that's way the hell out there is still, you look
semi-relevant.
You look at today's, or last year, or you look at how time progresses. You look at how civilization on this planet progresses, and what sounded far-fetched 5 years ago
is commonplace today.
You're going, oh my god.
Okay, yeah, like the very first microwave versus what we have now.
Right.
The very first computer versus your smartphone. That kind of stuff.
Which is why now I'm kind of looking back at Dante. Because it's been a couple of years. But now I'm looking at his new stuff and going, Because, again, we see different craft with different lights. But what he showed on video, and you can actually see the craft, they all had white lights. And those were Mater craft. But then you saw a different craft, just like you said, Barry, the orange ball. And that was correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. To some, it's a rabbit hole. But the more you look at, some of the predictions and some of the stuff he says is coming up, and you cringe. Because if it's true, holy hell.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If it's true, look out.
But, if I would have looked at that 2 years ago, and I would have said, yeah, no. And now we're here today, 2 years later, we're going, yeah, okay. Huh. So we have about 10 minutes left. Let's talk about the Kurs. So the Kurs is another race, and they're so the Kurs are one of the races. They are allies of the Mater, but at the same time, they have their own agenda.
No, I'm not trying to cut you off, but the names that this guy came up with are the names that these things give themselves. Are they giving that to themselves, or are we just naming them?
I really don't know.
Well, the idea of a universal translator can't exist. It's not freaking possible. Right, and so therefore we can't translate every alien language.
Right, so it would be as
we
close
can't
to
call
what you
them their
think.
name.
So
Yeah, okay.
with this aspect, it's probably what the Russians or the Ukrainians called them.
Because it sounded as close to whatever word that.
For the sake
okay.
the sake of this, for this reason.
Hell,
yeah.
we can't even truly translate our own languages on
No.
this planet.
No.
Right.
Now,
Right.
see-
It's going to freak everybody out when we find out all the aliens speak Spanish.
or
True.
German.
You know what? I'd be totally cool with all the aliens speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
But so it did come out. So the information that came out to the USSR in this book, some of it was from abducted aliens. That sounds kind of funny, but aliens they captured and interacted with. Some of them came from communication from aliens. Mm-hmm. So is that what they called themselves? I don't know.
Right.
Is that what they sounded like? I don't know.
Okay. All right. No, I was just
No,
wondering,
no.
like, if it was something that they had come down and been like, "We're the Maters,"
Fair,
you know,
fair
or
question. But the
I have one question. There's something that's rolling around in my head. Didn't you say that the Maters have been here since before we were here? I mean, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And if they're planning on taking over the planet and getting rid of the humans, they're doing a pretty bad job. I mean, there's a whole lot of us now.
Okay, but
Wouldn't they have done this a long time ago?
in all fairness, they've been at war with other races as well. There's other races that have been protecting this planet.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why.
but so their plans haven't been going very well.
No, not at all.
I mean, they're busy, but
yeah, every time, and I can't speak on this with experience, obviously, but you got to figure every time they come here, we've got this council of races, whether you call it the consortium, whether you call it the council of 5 or 9, but we do have outlooking races. Not all of them are evil. We have
Correct.
good races that are watching over the planet and over the human race. So you got to figure, every time they get close enough to do any damage, for the most part, they're going to be under attack, and not just by one race, but by a lot of different races. And again, the Mater have their own allies. So we're going to go over like 2 or 3 allies of theirs. The Flash, I don't have any information on. There's not a whole lot of information on them. Not that I've got written down. Again, I encourage you all to go look at his videos. His videos are, for lack of a better word, mind-boggling. And again, like most of you, you're going to look at them with a skeptical mind, and I expect you to. But look at his current ones. Now, I used to say go back to the very beginning of his channel and start from the beginning. Now I say start from his current ones, and then go back to the beginning, so that you can see what's currently happening, and then start from the beginning, so you actually get kind of a feel of what these alien races are, and it'll make more sense because even he tells you, especially. So the video I watched last night that he had just released 9 hours prior, because he's actually doing it currently. He's working on releasing all 1,500 videos because he keeps getting channels taken down
all the time. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's and every once in a while you can find. I mean, I'm looking at the Secret Book of Alien Races by Dante Santori.
Yep.
Right now on PDF, and the message. I mean, he goes through the alien races. It's been translated from Russian to English, and it's available right now. And if the listeners wanted to go see it, it's at astrojan.com. eu5.org /our book HTM number message.
I'm going to tell you right now, though.
Mm-hmm.
I know different companies came out and put his book out for sale. No, do not buy the book. The book is free.
Yeah, the book is free. This is it. This is where it's at. And it changes all the time because it's very hard to find it. Because,
Yeah, we have it in the FMP. So go to the Fourth Moon Paranormal Group, and we actually have it for download in our file section.
Yeah.
I've got it on my computer.
Just to use a favorite term from tonight, I'm just kind of thinking, if he's putting all this information out there about all these bad aliens, letting everybody know, wouldn't they like Epstein this guy? You know,
he's always on the move.
A little Clinton side is like, oh, this guy's telling everybody, boom, get rid of him.
Yeah, but that's if you're living in the United States. He doesn't live here.
He's living in Russia.
Well, I don't think aliens care what country you live in.
Oh, no.
If you're ratting out the bad guys, they're going to come get you, right?
I think it's because of the fact that...
I'm not talking about the government killing them. I'm talking about the aliens going, hey, that guy's telling everybody our secrets.
Well, he's also protected...
Wouldn't they off him?
No, he's also protected by the good aliens. He's actually working with different races.
That's right.
The Anasazi, not the Anasazi, the Azazians are one of the ones.
Azazians.
Yeah.
It's Azazians. But yeah, it's really interesting if you think about it. And that's what the Council of 5, 9, 12, whatever it would be, or the galaxy of the Federation that so many people talk about.
Okay, so
there's holes in that part of the story, though.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask him.
There is. I mean,
out there.
Yeah, because then you fear them.
Well, but that's the thing. If they wanted the information out there, why haven't they made contact?
They're not going to make contact.
But then, why let him live? Why let him continue his stories?
How do you know?
Like, there's no reason to protect him if they don't actually want full contact.
And why haven't they made full contact?
Right.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Like,
you got to remember, he disappeared for a long time. Yeah. So they put someone else in place and they used the title of Santori. And is it disinformation now, or is it the truth, or
it's still
whatever? Yeah,
so the only issue that I really have with the classifying alien races and the saying that this alien race is this way, this alien race is that way. This is based off of, let's say we captured one or two of them at some point.
Right.
So this is based off of one or two people's, or one or two aliens telling you this is what their agenda is.
Mm-hmm.
So if an alien was to come down and capture one of us and ask us what our global agenda is, wouldn't it be different for each culture and for each area and for each person?
Bingo.
Yes, and then if you were to capture somebody with, let's say, something like schizophrenia or something, they would say something completely off basis to what like reality. So
that's why they brought you back.
Oh. So I wonder, like, if this, even if it came from the horse's mouth, it could be just we abducted a person or an alien that happened to be nuts, or that was a child and we didn't know they were a child, so they're telling us fictitious whatever. You know what I mean?
Children aliens are cool. They are. So I was smoking a cigarette one time. No, I was smoking a pipe. That's right. A tobacco pipe. Just to clarify. I mean, yeah, weed is legal, but I don't smoke weed. I have a bad reaction to it. So I was smoking a tobacco pipe, and I had it was apparently a child alien that came through, and it looked at me and it said, "Inhalator." Like, huh? Yeah. I reckon it would be an inhalator to you, being an alien race, and I have no clue what race it was, because it was in human form. But yeah, No, the younger aliens are kind of cool because they're lost. They look at a human and they're like, "Huh, what's this do?" Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you see what I'm saying, though? Like, if it was like they came down, they made total contact, and they said, "This is our agenda. This is what we're about. This is what you should look out for."
Okay, imagine if they go to Nigeria.
That's what I'm saying. So depending on where they're picking somebody up, if they picked somebody up on that island, they would think that we were still at Stone Age.
Yeah.
Materials. Or if they pick somebody up from Russia, let's say, then they would base everything off of the Russian culture because that's what they're telling them. So there's got to be different cultures within each race too, and there's got to be different philosophies as well.
We've talked about that on the show before. That just because one race is coming down abducting doesn't mean the entire race believes in abducting, because just because Joe over there, hold on, just because Kurt over there is
there
abducting women, doesn't mean we all do. So we've all talked about that before.
I've always just been a little skeptical on what people classify aliens as and what they classify their agendas as.
And we're just presenting this.
No, totally.
Is this all truth? No, this is truth coming from one researcher. Just to clarify that. Does it mean it's fact? I do think some of it is fact because we've seen the white lights in the sky. I fully believe we have a war going on.
I do too.
Going by Joe seeing unnatural lightning. I mean, and we've seen it here. We have strange lights that come from White Horse Mountain and fly to Mount Baker on a weekly basis.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
Nothing on. There's nothing on White Horse Mountain.
Right, and I wouldn't say that there is no such thing as aliens. There's no. I totally and fully believe that there are. I get a little skeptical on the reasonings.
Oh, I do too. And don't get me wrong, I do too.
What did you think of?
But you have to look at around us and compare to what he's saying. That's where I go with it. It's like, I don't like what I'm seeing.
Right.
If what he's saying is right on, oh my God.
Right.
Because what he's said, like I said 2 years ago, compared to today, he hasn't been wrong. And that's the scary part.
Right.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to our last break. And we will be right back with our last hour.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 as we are talking alien races. And so this is a lot of the research done by Dante Centauri. So some of it's pretty right on. As far as I've been watching him for the last 3 years at least. And he's been doing this for about 12 years, if not longer. And yeah, it's not. It's not cool information. It really, and so Arnold had to go. He had some business to take care of in his home. So it's just us and Joe and Barry. What's up?
What do you mean it's not cool?
He means that if this shit does go down, that it's gonna suck.
Oh, it's gonna suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in his own words, so we are in an alien war from 2017 to 2022 between these different races, and it has nothing to do with humans. We're just in the crossfire, and basically with some of them in control of this planet. But depending on the outcome of their alien war that's going on, 2022 could be the beginning of the end, in their words.
So, and I'm just gonna throw this out here because I think in weird terms sometimes. But when we go to war, like as a country, when we go to war with somebody else, we don't have a definite deadline for like when the battle is over.
Right.
For when who wins. So, is this just like an estimated period of time that this should last? Or is this like...
I have no idea.
Okay.
Really good point.
This was actually just a prediction that was in the ARB.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was just wondering because I'm like, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this war is going to be over in, let's say 6 years.
As dictated by an alien race. Now, I don't remember. I think it was actually the race they called the 2017.
Oh, okay.
Which looked human, had blonde hair, and smelled like flowers in their description.
Damn hippies.
Actually, that's what they were referred to.
Yeah.
Basically.
Now,
I knew it.
In reading that, it sounded like the Nordics to me, but I know it's not the Nordics. The Nordics is a completely different race. Didn't that sound...
it is. It's a totally different race.
Because
and the
Nordics,
biggest part...
The Nordics are generally seen in, and we've talked about this on the show before too, in that different continents have predominantly different races. And the Nordics are primarily seen in the UK, well, in Europe. Not just the UK, but because they've been seen in Germany as well. When I was in Germany, I heard about the Nordics.
Right, Germany was the big part where they were seen a lot at, and same with Myers.
They do have your typical Nordic, blonde hair, blue eyed, but they stand about 6 to 7 foot tall, and they don't speak English, or they don't speak verbally. They're usually a telepathic race, if I remember right. Go ahead.
Eric, one of the things you didn't mention about the Mater is their self-created AI race of X5s.
Yeah.
You got to go into that.
I don't think I even printed that part out. I mean, again, that book is 185 pages. I've got it printed out at the house. So I just printed out the specific races we're talking about tonight. And I do have, the X5 Tyket. So the X5 Tyket is a race that was created by the Mater in order to be used as slaves, and that's still what they are used for. So they are sent down here, and they are security sensitive, or they are sent to security sensitive regions. So they'd be sent to security sensitive. That would be the U.S. That would probably be China. That would be Russia,
India.
Yeah, there's not very many of them. They're totally organic. So I mean, they're not organic. So Total AI.
I'm guessing that the X4s didn't work out very well.
Probably no. They probably ate them.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. Cotton
Right?
candy.
This would be the 5th iteration of these robot guys.
They haven't mentioned that. This is just the X5 Tyke. And so they are sent as messengers and to conduct abductions. So they can live forever because they're not organic. But the raw materials that the Mater needs to build one of these is rare. So there's not many of them, like less than 300. They are able to use rational thinking as well as flying ships and many other tasks. They are last seen on Earth. And again, these dates I don't rely on because, again, this is
back a long time ago.
Yeah. But according to this file, they were last seen on Earth July of 97 near Brisbane, Australia. Now, Brisbane, where is Pine Gap?
Right in the middle.
Gap.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's middle.
Is it near Brisbane?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Okay. Now, that'd be my question.
Comparatively, it is. It's closer than concrete.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to kill me.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
My question would be, would they be related to the Men in Black?
No, there's another race that's related to the Men in Black. But I don't have that. I didn't bring that file with me because I'm only working on the Mater tonight.
Okay. So then these guys are bad dudes that made a bunch of AI and sent them down to, like, spy on us?
300.
Right.
Yeah.
Or less.
Okay. And they're made out of some material that's super hard to find?
Yep. Probably on their home planet.
Interesting.
So then we have the Kurs. So again, the Kurs are their own race. They are considered allies of the Mater, but they again have their own agenda. So if they do something that pisses off the Mater, they go to war with them. They are known as the gods of lands. They are believed to be related to the Anunnaki, actually, which I don't believe. Again, I'm one that does not believe the Anunnaki are alien at all. The Anunnaki are actually deity. They are actually gods, ancient gods. So the Kurs come from the planet Dillamans. They are the race behind the story of Enlil and Ninlil. They were directly involved in the development of the human race during our early stages. So if you look at it on that concept, they would be seen as partial creators of the human race.
Mm-hmm.
Gods.
Yeah. So after centuries away from Earth, they have recently returned. Their own leader is amongst the most recent visitors. They will now stay on Earth permanently. They will have an important role in the years to come. They spend time immersed in a precious gold-like liquid that presumably extends their lifespan. Now, what can you tell me about the gold-like liquid? Have you ever heard of that one, Barry?
I know that a lot of the species that are out here are very interested in gold and look for gold.
But okay, so coming from that point, most of the races are interested in gold.
Yeah, but could that be the reason why that they are? Because they could make something.
But that's the only But that's the only race I've ever heard of, and it's not. It doesn't say it's gold. It says it's a gold-like liquid. So that could be. I mean, that could be a mineral that we don't even know about yet.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're talking about resources, there's been a few races that have said they want gold, they want mercury, they want whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of minerals that they could be after, dependent on what that race needs.
Yeah, but we don't know exactly why they need it either, or what they do with it. So that's the bad part. So
right.
Who knows?
So have you heard of the Mazarek? And apparently you're looking at the ARB right now anyway.
Of course.
So the Mazarek, they come from the constellation Camelopardalis. From the 1300s to the early 1900s, our calendar, they were not allowed to leave their planet by other alien races. They are very violent and a predatory race. They are known to be allies of the Mater. They grow up to 5 foot tall. And they were last seen on Earth August of 2001. And again, those dates I don't hold my breath on. Because any
Did you say Camela?
Huh?
Did you say Camela?
Camelopardalis.
Oh, okay. I just wondered, we have someone running for office right now, and
that's his last name. Beware of that one.
He's an alien. He's a Mazarin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the constellation they're supposed to be from, is Camelopardalis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay. I have to add, okay, because I'm like kind of into ancient races. I enjoy them. So we have a lot of different places around the world that are ancient cities and all of that jazz that have liquid mercury areas. Right? So when you're talking about the fact that these creatures or these aliens live in a liquid gold, basically. Okay, so if you were to take mercury and you were to mix it with liquid gold and get it to compound down, is that a possibility of why we have so many mercury holdings everywhere?
Who knows? I want to get cameras up by the mercury mines here in Cumberland. We have a heavy amount of UFO reports and sightings that go up in Cumberland, along with Bigfoot reports.
Well, I was just because you were talking like the Anunnaki and the different things like that, and how this is another version, basically, of what that would be. And in the Great Pyramid, they've found different areas of the inner chambers that have mercury deposits.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's been rumors for years that the first emperor of China, wherever he's buried, they're not sure, that the tomb, which is a big pyramid, that it has lakes of mercury in it.
Right.
That's correct.
Right, and there's also one over in Taiwan that has lakes of mercury around the tombs.
Oh.
So it just interests me because I get into that kind of stuff, but because I mean that's like super lethal to humans. So.
Oh yeah.
So why would you cover up your dead in it? Just saying.
But you gotta remember too, so with mercury, it's poisonous to us, doesn't mean it's poisonous to other races.
Oh, absolutely. But if you wanted to keep us away from whatever's in that coffin, what do? You surround it by something that we can't
that's gonna kill us
through.
Yeah. Because there's one race I know that doesn't need oxygen, doesn't need water, doesn't need anything we have that we need here.
Right. Well, there would have to be tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at all the different planets and then you look at non-corporeal forms and everything else, there would have to be tons of different types of races. They couldn't all be humanoid.
All right. So what I found funny is they do have the Pleiadians in the ARB, but the Pleiadians, according to the ARB, haven't been to the Earth in hundreds of years.
Because of a war, I think. On their planet.
Yeah, but how many different groups and how many different people have you seen online or even in person that talk about, oh yeah, I'm in contact with the Pleiadians all the time?
Yeah, but they could be in contact with them. It doesn't mean that they visited the Earth.
But you know what?
Or they could be nuts.
Well, just Michael Myers and over there in Europe is the one that was really pushing that, and most of the people who followed Michael Myers or I think that's what his name is.
No, Michael Myers killed people.
Yeah. No, what was the Myers of golly? What can I think of his name? That was involved in the abductions and wrote several books, and also found the lost book of the Jamal. So he was
Gary.
Billy Myers.
Billy Myers. Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Billy Myers. I apologize, folks. My mind is not.
You're still
October is still. Yeah. Yeah. October depleted my mind terribly. So, but yeah, I think it was because of his mentioning of them.
Billy Myers mentions the Pleiadians a few times. But if so going to the Council of Five, how come the Pleiadians aren't listed in the Council of Five? If they're a good race and they're all beneficial to the human race, why wouldn't they be a part of the Council of Five or Nine, whichever you want to look at?
Well, you also said that those Maters, I think it was, were potential shapeshifters. Could they be taking the form of something that we think is good in order to get the information?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And there's been, I even, when you look at some of the cases like Far in the Sky, what did Travis write about? He was talking strictly about seeing the blondes with these other individuals, other aliens. Now, could they transform to them? Very possible.
Or maybe that's what they modeled that Mark V thing after.
Either that or Bigfoot.
Well, you mentioned that, and so the original Travis Walton story showed this evil race, and they kill him and whatnot. They abducted him, and all of a sudden it changes. Why did his story change to all of a sudden they were good aliens that accidentally killed him and brought him back?
Well, the original story, Travis, and I've sat with Travis and talked to him. 2 years ago, I was with him down in Nashville, and his story. I don't think his story has ever changed. I think that he was, he's his philosophy of why a lot of the things that had to happen, but as he continues to suffer through, like so many other abductees, things come to him and go. So he looks at it as going. I was in an area. I was accidentally hit by this beam.
Right.
So I shouldn't have been there. They sucked me up. I was dead, and they brought me back. But the type of aliens, were they good or were they bad? Just because he was returned in health doesn't really make too much sense. But it was really very tragic for him, and the things that he saw.
And from their point of view, they accidentally killed a human.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to fix it. I get that.
Right.
But what if they were threatened by the Council of Five, for example, that you just violated human rights, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You got to fix it or we'll destroy you.
Could be.
Or could it be just like, they were driving their ship down the road and they hit a deer. Oh, man, look, we killed a deer. They brought it into the truck and they bandaged it up and it got better and they let it loose.
Yeah.
Ain't necessarily evil.
No.
Well, they could have mistaken him for a cow, maybe, So.
And, it's funny.
Yeah, what is it with the cows?
What's funny, because there have been actual reports of elk being seen being levitated up to a ship. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, so
There have been
how do you-
reports of people out in the woods and they see elk that are
Yep.
up in
Yep.
trees that are 70, 80 foot off the ground.
Right.
Elk
yeah, how did they
carcasses.
get there?
Explain that one.
It was Santa's reindeer. They
Whoa, poor Rudolph.
hit into a tree.
Okay. So this council of 5 or this council of 9 or 12, it depends on who you are and how many you think are on there. I'm not really sure.
Whichever,
But
the council.
yeah, so the council. So we have a whole bunch of people up there, well, different races up there that are deciding the fate of humanity.
Think of them
Right.
as the UN.
Exactly, but why don't we have a seat on that? I'm not saying like the actual
I don't trust the
council,
UN.
but I'm saying
No.
why don't we have a representative that is part of like their parliament process or whatever?
I don't think. I mean, who are you going to have?
What do
Well, it
you
wouldn't-
think if there was abductees that they abducted that are humanoid that are here that sit on that council? Because I've heard that from different. I've heard that from abductees
Like it's
being pulled into a council, pulled to a council,
yeah,
and
because it seems like they'd at least have to question us for certain things. Like they'd have to pull somebody
Well-
up there for our side of this story or
Right.
whatever.
We have councils here on Earth, groups from around the world, that are protecting endangered species, but there's not a lion on the council.
Yeah, that's true. That is
Yeah,
true.
good point.
So if they were to think of us as an inferior species versus their
Right,
level,
and we
Yeah.
are, and I've heard many different theories and stories and whatnot that they're waiting for us to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think that so the Mater's a violent race, the humans are also a violent race. You can't get past that.
oh for sure.
We're a warlike.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
We're definitely a warlike species.
That's what we're best at. Look at history.
pointy sticks.
It's all about wars
Yeah, pointy sticks, absolutely.
pointy sticks.
and pointy sticks.
So, yeah, I don't think us as a species have developed the way they want us to, or developed, grown up, or matured to where we're ready to be on a council. And it's really the human race that they are protecting. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, that's just my thoughts on that one. Is it right or wrong? I have no idea.
Right.
So let me ask you, what do you think of channelers?
I don't like channelers. I don't.
Nope.
I mean, some of them.
I hate you guys. No, I'm sorry.
Some of them are valid, but anybody can come out. I look at the Romplins, for example. No, when there's a monetary value in your channeling, something's off.
Yeah,
That's
that
I
is
guess
true.
that's where I stand on when you can go out and make millions because all of a sudden you channeled this ancient being. No, I understand people got to make a living. I get that, but to make millions, no. So
Yeah,
how do you vet that? You know what I mean?
I don't. That's what I'm asking, because I've talked to a few people that are channelers that are not rich, but have a message that is very similar to some of the things that are talked about. They talk about a council. They talk about all of the things, and they always talk about what we need to do in consciousness and the mother and the divine feminine, and they speak
Yeah, but
about
people have been talking about that stuff for centuries. Anybody can
Absolutely.
say that.
And I have to
There's
look
no
at,
way to, like you said, there's no way to vet any of
There's
it.
no way to vet it because any of them can go on and find the ARB, for example, or find another research site and say the same thing, but in different twisted words and say, this is the message I got. Yeah, okay, you Google it.
right. But what about
I
some
would
of the
have
stuff?
to
If it's-
disagree.
But if it's something they can't find on Google and it matches to an extent of what you've already researched or known, then that's the easiest way to vet it.
Well, I I would have to say that I believe in specific channelers. Okay? I have never actually met one myself that I fully believe is a channeler.
Right.
But I do believe that some people can. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, I don't think that it's in the way that everybody seems to think it is, where they get this message or they get this direct thing where they're like, oh my god, okay, this is a divine being talking to me and this is what he said. Mm-hmm. I think it is more like Tesla, for instance. Where
I can see some channelers not getting a message, but getting maybe symbols.
Right, it's something of that nature where they're like, this is always, or Ramadan, okay? You got him, and this is always coming to him. It's coming to him from somewhere. He has no idea really what it is, but he knows how to do advanced mathematics that he's never been in a classroom to learn. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I think that that it can come through certain people in certain ways, but I don't think it's straight up, this person told me this was what was happening, when it was happening, how it was happening, and where it was.
I think the vetting process with a channeler has to be an individual thing. Mm-hmm. And again, if it's something they found that you can find on Google that says it's close to the same thing, you know, unless you can give me something.
Oh, well, they'll say if you didn't find it on Google, that they've got a new message.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Still no way to vet any of it.
Yeah. Right.
And that's why I'm saying I think that when somebody does channel something, when something does come through, that it comes through in a way where we call them a genius or the most, or a philosopher,
Tesla,
depending on
Einstein.
the time. Yes.
Yeah,
where they're
Tesla,
getting messages
Einstein.
of something, but it's not entirely their own message, but they have to be smart enough to actually understand what they're getting sent to a degree.
But and even if they don't, if they draw a diagram of something futuristic, that they might not have any idea what it is. But here's the diagram, and all of a sudden they have government vehicles coming to their house. I mean, yeah,
right. Mm-hmm.
So I believe that it is. I wouldn't say channeling, or it depends on what you call it. Whether you call it channeling, whether you call it a cosmic consciousness, whether you call it tapping into the divine, all of these different ways that people say that they do this. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that it's possible, but I think that it only happens for select people and only for select things.
I think anyone can be a channeler, though.
See, I don't think everyone
I think for
has
all the people out there that are channeling, there might be a few of them that actually are, but I think most of them are con men.
Right.
Or women.
And I'm right there with you, Joe. I think the true channelers aren't out there on YouTube. They aren't out there getting their message across for a whole bunch of
They're the people you've never heard of.
Yeah.
No, they're the people working for CERN that are in a white coat, but you don't know what their name is.
Yeah. And you don't know what their job is.
Exactly.
But, and again, not taking away from YouTube, but I think some of them might be valid. But again, vetting process.
But the problem now is that anybody who has a computer
can have a YouTube channel.
Can have a YouTube channel.
Right.
Can have that, and can say anything they want to say.
Yeah.
There isn't that massive amount of censorship as far as if I went on a YouTube channel and I said that I am from planet XR2 and this is my message to the Earth. There's going to be specific people that believe that, whether it's true or not.
So here's the way.
I don't know. The censorship has gotten a lot worse lately on YouTube.
Yeah, that's for
sure. Dude.
And
there's been about censorship. Facebook shut down my entire profile.
Right. You know, and
for no reason. It was absolutely. I mean, I didn't post nothing. I didn't do nothing. We have a couple theories on that. As far as the Upriver group.
Well, no. The email that we both got, or the message that we both got from Facebook said that was what it was indirect
Did
to.
It?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We run a group when you're partly responsible for everyone in that group.
Yeah, 6,700 and some odd people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if one of them says some horrible shit, then yeah.
But yeah, no, their censorship has gotten
crazy.
But
just
the problem
insane.
is they're starting to realize the problem is the laws are changing
to encompass that.
and they're honestly, the laws are making it harder on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to make it harder on us.
And we have to make it harder on our people.
Yeah.
And then get bitched at for violating their First Amendment rights, which I'm sorry, your First Amendment rights only apply to government. They don't apply to a private group.
That's right.
That's what many people don't get.
Yeah, but there's so many fine lines and everything that it's just crazy. It's insane.
But if this went to court, we would win because it's a private group.
For sure, but you know what I mean. Like all of these lines in the sand that we're like, we can't really cross that, but let's like flirt on that, but let's not cross that. Yeah, no.
Right.
Facebook has gotten insane with the censorship. I posted a meme that had Buzz Lightyear talking to Woody from Toy Story, and he's saying climate or arson is now called climate change in California.
Yes.
And it got censored by Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, so I gotta tell you.
They actually blocked it out. You had the little eyeball thing, you wouldn't let you look until you clicked on it. And they had a thing where they had fact checkers that said, no, it's not true. It's like, well, yeah, there's a lot of people that have been setting arson fires.
Right.
But
yeah, but that's the thing. That fact checker is crazy. Even if they're taking off, you can't even, as of November 5th, you can't even put down your history in it. I got a blurb on it that I was going to add some different things of what I do and everything else in your experience and stuff. Well, guess what? As of November 5th, that's gone. You won't ever be able to do that again.
Really?
And so, yeah. So I went in to do it, and I said, well, I got till November 5th. I'll just go ahead and do it. And then all of a sudden, they wiped out everything, all mine on, and got it early. Mm-hmm. So,
I will say that
so it's not on there.
About a week and a half ago, I did post this little stupid article from The Onion. And everybody knows what The Onion is, right?
Yeah.
It is actual fake news. That's the whole point in The Onion. It's a satire news, right?
Right.
And I posted it on one of our groups, and it was talking about the up-and-coming alien invasion, right?
Did they fact check it?
It got fact checked. And then it got removed, and then I got in Facebook jail for 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to post that meme on the on your site there.
On FFP?
Paranormal Road Trippers. Is that it?
Oh.
No, wait a minute. That's
No,
not
that's
it.
not us.
Force Moon.
No, God, I'm on the wrong site.
No, we're on Force Moon.
Let me see.
Yeah, for any listeners, go to Force Moon Paranormal.
Force Moon, there it is.
And jump into it.
Yes.
Force Moon. I'm going to post that meme, and just to see, I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm going to see if they fact check it, so you'll be able to see.
You're going to get our group shut down.
Toy Story got your group shut down.
All right, Eric, you're approving that one. No.
No, I'm not. I don't need this account shut down too. But yeah, no, they are getting.
There are some things
crazy.
that are a little bit crazy.
So, Killimer Auk is our next alien race we're going to look at.
Killimer Auk?
Yeah. They come from the constellation Volans. The sightings of this race on Earth are rare. They're considered a mystery race. It said they were forbidden to visit Earth around the year 1000 BC, but they did not stop visiting Earth completely because they're allies of the Mater. They were last seen on Earth December of 1989.
Huh.
And again, and it's weird because the next race is the Dries. D-R-I-E-S. And it looks like a real picture. Not even just some of them are sketches. Some of them are actually from video games and movie clips and whatnot. But this actually looks like a picture of sorts, or a photo. The Dries are around 8 foot tall. They have a very complex structure of their skull. They've visited Earth at least 20 times, and again, I'm sure that's much higher by now. They carry out human abductions, which they use for human reproduction.
Ooh.
Wonderful. They have abducted at least 520 humans, both male and female. They come from the third star in constellation Cetus, C-E-T-U-S. They have 2 home planets and have colonized at least 40 planets with the help of slaves. 10 of those planets were taken with the use of force. They work together with 3 other races. They mostly eat animal protein-derived products. According to alien reports, they are not mentally or spiritually prepared to interact with most other races. Their 2 home planets' chemical composition is similar to Earth. The reason I bring these guys up, because they are supposed to reveal themselves to humans in an open manner in 2022.
22. Yeah.
So mark that date down. Mark that year down. Because you might have a new race that's about 8 foot tall. And, yeah.
I've been waiting for first contact forever. Well, I mean, I'm sure that we've had first contact in several different areas. But I've been waiting for global contact forever. Like, let's see them. Let's have them come down and be like, hey, what's up, bro?
Yeah, it's open.
Zephram Cochrane has to invent the warp drive first.
So it's not. We have about 20 minutes left. The last race we're going to discuss tonight is gigantic. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce this one. It's Gighantik, and these guys know. Maintains sporadic contact with 3 Earth governments, but not the most powerful ones. So not the U.S., not Russia or China.
Mm-hmm.
Considered to have a violent nature by other races, they've been visiting Earth for 3,000 years. They come from the constellation Horologium and are known to have, as allies, Mater. Again, so everyone we've been talking about tonight is Mater allies.
Mater, yeah.
Except for the drives. Their last sighting, and I find this interesting, is near Houston, United States, February 1st of 2003. Texas has a lot of alien interaction.
Mm-hmm.
When FMP had a team, we had 3 different cases involving aliens, where that's actually where we destroyed a tunnel involving mantids. That's where a client also lived whose daughter is a hybrid. She doesn't know it, and he wanted to know if he should tell her. And I told him, well, you're going to know when the time's right, whether to tell her or not. But, that's 2. And if you look at historical, if you look up alien abduction historically, you'll see a lot of different cases that happen in Texas. Now, is it because it's of the size of the state? Is it because it's a border state to Mexico where a lot of alien interaction goes on? Or is it because of, oil fields, underground bases? What do you think, Barry? And have you noticed a lot of UFO sightings over Texas?
Texas has always been, it's such a large place, and even with the MUFON, it has very many sections. It's sectioned off go well, and there are a lot of cases. It's one of the, so it's a very large state, very, very big, and it's totally different from, certain ends to certain ends. Houston, and what is in Houston? Why would there be aliens in the Houston area? Is not NASA involved around the Houston area a lot?
Oh, yeah.
So that would be my thinking that would say, sounds like a pretty good idea to be, especially if you're doing, and if you have and dealing with governments, you're going to be very close to a government facility, especially one that has something with space.
Plus, there's a lot of wide open spaces if you want to hide.
Yeah, exactly.
And weren't there chupacabra reports in Texas as well? That
yes,
kind of.
But the hairless dog, not the chupacabra that they have in Puerto Rico or they've seen there. It was a different version of it.
And a lot of people pointed at coyotes with mange were the actual chupacabras that got seen there.
Right, but I believe that one body that was found down there in Texas kind of blew that out of the water, if I remember correctly. So, it makes
what's interesting
a perfect sense to be around that area.
I think the first documented case of black-eyed children was actually in Texas as well.
Yeah, and it's also the easiest, probably, what's there underneath of it is probably very easy to drill through. That's one of the main areas for tunneling to bring in drugs or anything else. So I think it would probably be very easy to be under the ground and be hidden. And I'm sure that that's where a lot of that stuff happens. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that they live. I believe most of the ones that have anything to do with the Mater are underground.
Underground or
in a facility that the government is housing underground also that you can't see from above. So, and that's where what you're saying about destroying a tunnel. It's the same thing, And I think that's going on a lot in the United States because we hear so many of these rumblings under earth, loud booms, everything else, and there are certain ones that are being destroyed, I believe.
and Joe, it wouldn't even let us approve your post. It already said it was fact checked.
It did. It's approved. It went through.
Mm-hmm.
They added a notice to the post so others can see that it's partly false.
Partly false information has been shared in your group.
That's because it's a freaking joke, guys. Does Facebook not know what a joke is anymore?
No, they don't.
No.
Nope.
No.
Well, that makes sense. That's why we have TikTok, I guess.
Oh, Jesus.
Because that entire site is a joke.
So.
It's missing information. Yeah.
Well, to kind of circle around to where you started the show, to where we were just talking about the Maters and they're evil and they're underground. In the beginning, we were talking about how a lot of the religions around the world, the gods came from above, and below are evil. They're the devils and hell and all that stuff. Well, wouldn't the Maters be underground?
But we also know the Mater have their own home planets.
Well, yeah, but,
But I
when
think
all
a
these
lot of
religions were started hundreds or thousands of years ago, they didn't know about other planets.
And even though, they're talking about what Joe's talking about makes pretty good sense because of the fact that nobody's going to know about them, nobody's going to be there, and they're going to build a race to be able to, if they're going to take over the area, no matter how long it takes, if it takes 2,000 years to do, or whatever their game plan, they have to have some that are created here to stay here because they have to have a stronghold, correct? Wouldn't you think so?
Well,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder if the Mater are involved with MyLabs.
No, you know what it throws out to me is that old movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
Okay? Where all of a sudden there's a bunch of lightning that's striking everywhere, and then these big robot creatures come up from the ground and start attacking everybody.
Yeah.
And that's more what it sounds like to me. Like, they built these little robot creatures. They're all over the earth, but there's only like 300 of them, and
but they have a great appetite.
Right.
So next week we have Charles Beaver. He's supposed to be coming on the show. special guest. I'll be reaching out to him this week. And we'll be talking more aliens.
Sweet.
And then Roundtable is on the 15th. So I'll be looking for that. And of course, you're going to hear from Barry and Joe and Arnold. And
what's going on the 15th? What's the Roundtable going to be about? Have you decided that yet?
3 questions that you have to bring.
Oh, okay.
It's just going to be an open roundtable. Just an open one. So with that, Barry, where can we find Into the Fire?
Into the Fire now is on Parahouse TV on Facebook. It's also on Parahouse Entertainment TV.com. You can also find it on YouTube. So that's at several different locations. This week I'm kind of having a mystery guest when we're just going to talk about some odd things. And then the week after we're going to have a roundtable talking about conspiracy theories.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, conspiracy.
Yeah.
Gotta love those conspiracy theories.
Planting viruses on the... yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like on this giant
yeah. You want to participate?
I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole.
Please don't start that.
You live in the rabbit hole.
Sometimes I do. Yeah.
And the rabbit hole is extremely deep.
And
through the looking glass.
Yeah. So, folks, stay safe this week. It is Election Day on Tuesday. I'll say again, stay safe this week. A lot of weird stuff going on in our country that I'm not even going to discuss. Just stay safe.
Please do.
We all don't know what's going to happen with the powers that be as far as the election night. So vote and stay safe.
All we know right now is the turkey ain't going to make it out of the next month.
Absolutely not.
Well, we might get hit by a meteor tomorrow, so...
The turkey still won't survive.
Right, yeah. The turkey's not making it past the end of the month.
Absolutely not. No, get ready for winter. Make sure you're ready for winter. And don't miss Upriver Counter Chaos on Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. on ksvu.org. That is Cole Nye's Homeland Security, Public Safety, Disaster Preparedness Show.
Yeah.
So, don't miss it. And, yeah.
You turned into me right now. That's awesome.
No, I'm thinking what else needs to get put out. But November 13th, also don't miss the open house for our locals at
Mad Hatter
Metalworks. Absolutely not. And be careful what you post on Facebook. You know, I even got a message from Google threatening me on Google because I was looking on YouTube.
Yeah, just so you know, you can't even post a male nipple anymore.
I got one of those too, so...
On Google?
Yeah.
A nipple?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could get mail-ordered nipples. I like this.
Amazon's getting creative.
Yeah.
I remember, when eBay first started, you could actually buy kidneys.
I got...
Dude, what happened to that?
I got Kayla's sister thrown into Facebook jail for 7 days because I took a picture of my nipple and put it on her account.
Oh, God. All right. So on that note, folks, stay safe this week. We will see you next week. And
thank you
again,
all.
I can't emphasize enough. Stay safe this week. It's going to be a crazy week. And remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.